Good morning. Hope you're having a great day. We've all watched over the past 2 weekends the contrast between what's going on in Gaza and what's going on in Israel. In Gaza, we watched people with guns and in uniforms terrorizing girls on the way out to freedom, standing on the Red Cross van, banging on their windows, screaming terrible things. This week they paraded them literally on a stage like they were some sort of celebration and made them sign certificates of their captivity. Morally depraved animals. And on the other side, we watched Israel. We watched a reporter interviewing Emily Damari's friends. And as she's interviewing them, they literally lift her on the shoulders. They're so excited and they're dancing and they're singing. We watched fathers get on the channel 12 or any of the news channels and crying, "Shehechiyanu v'kiyimanu v'giyanu lizman hazeh." People all over the world who've never met any of these hostages or their families were waiting and hanging on every word of the IDF when they came into Israel's hands to see the pictures of them embracing their mothers and their fathers, the crying, the joy of every Jew. And on the other side, we watched morally depraved animals, literally with guns, killing their own Gazans. The Hamas are shooting them and beating them and killing them. We saw already 2 instances of Hamas people in prison that asked Israel not to let them out of prison. They said, "We don't want to go. We want to stay in prison. We don't want to go out. We don't want to go back to Gaza." Just imagine. What does it make us think? What does it make us know? This week's Torah portion we read about the 9th plague. The 9th plague was the plague of darkness. And the verse says something interesting. That for 3 days the Egyptians didn't see each other. And then it says for 3 days they didn't get up. They couldn't even move. The simple interpretation is that the darkness was so dark, it was palatable, you could feel it, and therefore it made them frozen in their places. That's how dark it was. But the Hasidic Masters and the Rebbe says something much deeper, something very powerful. That when you don't see your brother, then you become paralyzed. You can't move. You get so entrenched in yourself, in your ego, in your wantings, in your needs, that you don't see another person's pain, another person's challenge, another person's struggle. You can't move from your place. You see, one of the most moving things for Israelis was to watch Emily Damari get up there and with a flag, draped in an Israeli flag, make a V sign with her fingers that she has left. The smile, the love. But what we don't know is that Emily Damari, who we all prayed for 471 days, was from Kfar Aza. And when she was about to be released after 471 days in dungeons of the dark Hamas, she was next to another person, Keith Siegel, an American who's 65 and in poor health. And when they told her to come, she's getting released. Emily Damari said, "No, I'll stay. Let Keith Siegel go because he needs the medical attention. He's older." Where would you see this? After 471 days, such remarkable courage and love from one Jew to another. We're all thinking about Agam, and we're all thinking about all these other people still in captivity, 90 people. But we can't forget the stark difference between Gaza and Israel, the stark difference between Jews and Palestinians killing their own, gunning them down, terrorizing women who are being led out of captivity, jumping on their vans, trying to make it like they're the victors when we all know the truth. Listen, it's tough times for us Jews. And to see the scenes is hard. And the next 2-3 months will be even harder when we see terrorists who kill Jews in cold blood go free. But we can't forget the one thing that differentiates us from these animals, from these cannibals. We love life. We celebrate love and life. And they celebrate death and hate. And that's the message. When you don't see another human being, when it's so dark that all you see is yourself and what you need, these Gazans, these Hamas people are ready to destroy their own place, the beachfront Gaza, just because of their moral depravity, because of them wanting to kill Jews. They'll kill their own people. They'll put their place into destruction just to celebrate themselves. But us Jews, we, through the pain, see and love and care. There's a remarkable famous story about this guy who goes up to heaven, and God tells him, I'm going to give you a visit of heaven and hell, and you'll see which one you want to go to. And he comes into hell, and he sees there's a massive barbecue. They're making burgers and steaks and cold cuts and whatever you want there. And then he sees all these people, but the thing is they have these forks tied to them that are 3 feet long, and all these people are miserable. And he realizes what's happening. There's delicious food, but the fork is too long. It doesn't let them reach their mouth. And then he says, let me see what's in heaven. And they take him to heaven, and in heaven he sees the same thing. So what's going on? He doesn't understand. The same food, the same barbecue, the same party, the same forks tied to their hands. But then he sees the difference. In hell, everyone's only seeing themselves and trying to feed themselves. So with a 3-foot fork, you can't feed yourself. But in heaven, each one was seeing the next person. So you were picking up a steak or burger and you were feeding someone else. And then with the 3-foot fork, you're able to help the other person eat, and then they're able to help you. That's the message of the plague of darkness. Don't be sad. Hold your heads up high. It's painful to see these terrorists going free. It's painful to see the celebrations in Gaza. But don't forget who we are. And don't forget that light will always win over darkness. Don't forget the love the Israelis and the Jewish people all over the world are giving to each other. Remember Emily Hart, who was ready to stay in captivity to let Keith Siegel out. Remember all these remarkable, heroic people, because Am Yisrael Chai, and as the song keeps on saying, Va'od yoter tov, va'od yoter tov, it's only going to get better. God bless you. Have a